According to our elderly, there are always creatures lurking in every corner of the world. A Kapre here, an aswang there, an encanto somewhere. They seem to be everywhere, protecting and guarding nature. As children, we once couldn't help but believe that these mythological and folkloric creatures really exist. We used to be careful around areas where we played and, in a sense, revere the grassy places, the rocks, and the trees. As a result of fear for the unknown, the dili, ingun, natu. Well, that thought and consideration is relevant in this presentation. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. The title of my paper is Kapre Legends, Fire, and its relation to cautionary perception toward nature. This paper examines 3 Kapre legends from Damiana Eugenio's Philippine folk literature, the legends, the Cafre in Balayan, Anam-Anam, and Encounter with a Kapre. It argues that fire functions as an ambivalent symbol of nature's power, representing both life-sustaining and destructive capacities. Using an ecocritical perspective, the study explores how these legends promote ecological values such as caution, restraint, reciprocity, and respect toward the natural world. For a little bit of background, as we all know, the Kapre's known physical attributes include being tall, muscular, and having monkey-like features such as being hairy. But did you know that Kapre comes from the Arabic kafir, meaning non-believer? The Spanish, who were in contact with the Moors, brought the term Cafre to the Philippines to describe the indigenous Negrito groups who had similar features as that of black Africans. In addition, the word agta can be synonymous to Kapre, though used as another name for the Aita people. Thus, the modern characterization of the Kapre evolved from racially prejudiced portrayals of the Negrito tribes. However, my discussion won't be focusing on the evolution of the mythological creature. Quite differently, I will be discussing about fire and how it is not merely a passive element or agent in the legends. Though not directly related to the Kapre, they seem rather relevant to the storytelling and the cautionary value of the legends. So for my thesis statement, I argued that the Kapre legends, the Cafre in Balayan, Anam-Anam, and Encounter with a Kapre use fire as an ambivalent symbol of nature's power. It can provide light, warmth, and protection. But when mishandled or approached carelessly, it also exposes human vulnerability before the non-human world. The study employs close textual analysis and ecocritical literary criticism to examine recurring representations of fire in the 3 Kapre legends. It contextualizes these narratives using scholarly discussions on Philippine ecological wisdom, indigenous beliefs in nature spirits, and the concept of dili, ingun, natu, or the supernatural guardian of nature. The analysis focuses on how fire functions symbolically across different narrative situations. In the following legends chosen for this paper, we will see how fire functions in 3 ways, namely fire as need, violence, and defense. These 3 would later be the basis of how we view nature in these legends. Fire as need in the Cafre and Balayan. A traveler seeking a light for his cigarette approaches a Kapre after spotting the moving fire of its massive cigar. Here we see that fire is a desired resource, much like how nature is always desired for what it can give to us human beings. It attracts us the way it gives so much. However, seeing the massive creature, even without doing anything, inspired fear and instinct for the man to flee. Thus, fire and the story revolving around it in the Cafre in Balayan also teach that nature inspires awe for its power we couldn't fully grasp. In Anam-Anam, after a boy is abruptly snatched up into a tree by a Kapre, he retaliates by gathering grass and burning the trunk of the tree. This permanent destruction drives the spirit away and allows the boy to claim its shape-shifting charm. The text finds that fire here represents human exploitation and the violation of nature's boundaries, mirroring real-world environmental destruction like deforestation. This usually happens when nature is vulnerable to human destruction. Like what happened in the story, fire was ignited as the Kapre was not on his guard. In Encounter with a Kapre, the protagonist throughout the end drove a Kapre away, but the result is more of a stalemate. Here, the man is holding a torch with one hand as protective tool against creatures that may threaten him. Again, fire, representing nature, would suggest that in here, nature can become a protective tool against natural forces, in this case also represented by the Kapre as nature's warden. The demonstration would highlight resistance and not full control, as what the story would suggest in the encounter ending with a stalemate. The findings suggest that Kapre legends function as ecological cautionary tales. Fire symbolizes nature itself, an untamed force capable of providing resources, inflicting harm, or offering protection. The stories teach that respectful engagement with nature fosters harmony, while reckless intrusion results in fear, conflict, and imbalance. Through the figure of the Kapre as a guardian spirit, the legends reinforce traditional Filipino values of environmental stewardship, reciprocity, and reverence for the non-human world. The study concludes that the recurring motif of fire in the three Kapre legends represents nature's dual capacity for sustenance and destruction. These narratives encourage caution, restraint, and responsibility in human interactions with the environment. Far from being simple supernatural stories, the legends serve as ecological parables with nature and the importance of respecting its boundaries. Thank you for listening. These are the works I cited in my paper. And that's the end of my presentation.